Okay, so I introduced the Farina Magnette in the one video recently, and I wasn't able to get to a lot of it because it got dark, and I've got so many other things that I've had to work on. I mean, as you can see, there's stuff around the shop here that requires attention. So I'm kind of split between myself and Kevin on doing projects. You know, we've got all these things to do at the same time, and it's just him and I. And when he can't do things, I'm doing a lot of the stuff. And for just us by ourselves, it's pretty difficult to do. That being said, I did get a chance to, as you saw the last video, get the car running. Took the carbs off after that. I don't know if I have video footage of that. I rebuilt them or went through them, cleaned them all up, ensured that the fuel enrichment device worked correctly, that the jets would lower like they should, that the carburetors worked out fine and everything. And now what I'm going to do is I've cleaned the surfaces. I'm going to switch out spacers to the MGB spacers for the phenolic spacers and put the carbs back on when I get a chance. And I've stripped out the interior, so I may have footage of that. But yeah, so here's another part of the 62 Farina Magnette. 61 or 62, I never know. We've got two of them though. I'll show that in the video if I haven't already.
Yeah, so here's our other magnet. As you can see, it's in not as great shape as the one that I've been posting on. This one actually runs as well. I'll try to get more footage of it at some point. All right, back to the 61 I've been working on. I'm ready to try to get into this at least. We'll see if I can't take out the interior and the carburetors, but we'll see how far I can get. Yeah, I mentioned the interior being kind of crappy except for the dash, but I'm going to pull that out. But I wanted to look through the fuel system real quick, check out the tank. Here in the trunk, I know I've got some spare parts, but I went to go pull the sending unit out of the tank to see what it looked like. I was trying to get a camera down there so that I could see if there was just a bunch of stuff in the bottom of it so when I can actually run it. There was a set of Volvo carburetors that came with this car. No idea why Volvo carburetors, but okay. They is what it is. They're SUs. So yeah, unfortunately the taillights are not in the greatest shape. They're all breaking apart. On both magnets they don't have it, but I've got some spares here. I can't remember if they're in good shape or not. I think one of them is, but on both magnets the taillights are shot. I love this badging, by the way. Okay, so I already took off the intake manifold. I went ahead and took the tops off the float bowls, and these have the really cool floats. I like the original floats, the ones like this before they went to all plastic. But you can see that the valve is sticking here, so that's not going to allow fuel through the carbs like it needs to. So I need to fix that. So I'm going to end up taking these carbs apart and redoing them. But at least I've got to this point here to where I can just, see where I'm at. Because I want this thing to actually run on its own without me having to spray anything in it from the gas tank. Okay, you got the rod down here for the enrichment device on both carburetors. These have the thinner phenolic spacers, which are bunched together. I don't really care for that type of phenolic spacer. I'm not saying anything's wrong with it. I just prefer the newer style when they went to the thicker, big plastic looking ones. All right, so as you can see, the carburetors are off. That just leaves the heat shield and the phenolic spacer. They've got the linkage there that I'm probably going to take apart, clean up, and make sure it functions correctly. But yeah, I mean, this is the start of getting it all sorted out. Yeah, so here are the carbs. You can see all the sediment. Like I said, there's the rod and everything. Oh, that was kind of stupid. But there's tons of sediment in these float bowls. So just cleaning up the floats, cleaning out all the sediment, running things through it. I mean, look at this. You don't want that in your fuel supply. So that being said, like I said, both of them will get cleaned. I'll go through the whole thing. I'll take them all apart, and we'll see how much stuff is actually in here, and if I just can't get rid of it all. But like, I mean, look at that. That's not good. So, all right, so big difference from when I first started. The heat shield's off now, so it's just down to the intake manifold. But the car is a lot cleaner. I've never liked how these mounted to the exhaust manifold. I know there's a reason for it, but it's just not my thing. The heater valve here and all this stuff is probably going to get taken off at some point and replaced because it's no good. A lot of this stuff, especially the rubber, all the rubber on these cars are gone for the most part. So I'll end up taking all this stuff off. I mentioned in the last video I bounce around a bit. What you're seeing now is the big hole in the floor from the driver's side. I took out the driver's side seat and I set it over here. All the interior is going to have to be redone, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, I'm trying to get all of the stuff out. I'm trying to get this carpet stuff out as well because none of it, like I said, none of it's going to be salvaged. The leather around the shifter here, all this stuff is going to get taken up. All right, once again, my battle with sunlight, I'm not winning. So it's starting to get dark, and I'm making pretty good progress though. I've got some of the back seat out, stripped up a whole bunch of the carpet. I've gotten the carpet from the tunnel out and everything else off. So my goal is to get the rest of this interior out before the end of the night and see if I can't just, have it all done. I've got to work on these doors because they don't seem to open right away. All right, so I come around to this side. I just took the back part of the back seat off. Um, Here on this back shelf area, it looks like there was something burned there at some point. Nothing's melted. I don't know if it was a small fire, but the other Magnette has something in the same area. I just put the interior out there. I'm gonna have to look into this more. There's nothing, like I said, that looks like a major fire or anything. It's odd. All right, moving back in here. The entire interior has been taken out. As you can see, you're able to view the whole floor. The floors are actually in really great shape, with the exception of the driver's side over there where the problem area is. Other than that, they're very solid. These windows in the back, I still need to clean up and get on. They turn out great when I clean them, but whatever that stuff is, it is hard to get off. All right, so that's it for the interior. Basically, it's all out. You guys know about the rust spot. Overall, though, like I said, the car is in great shape. The rest of the interior looks nice. There's no holes in the floor. But I want to get this headliner down at some point because it keeps hitting my head and it's driving me crazy. So I'm going to get it down. It might be salvageable. So I can't remember if it's the next day or a few days later, but I wanted to show the interior during the daylight. You can see it is it's falling all apart. I mean, I go to touch it and just pieces fall everywhere. So it's going to have to be reupholstered. In here I put all the rest of the trim pieces and everything in case I need to use them to mock up other pieces. But like I said, the majority of it's not going to be used. I've mentioned the tail lights before. Yeah, here are the lenses and stuff. That one's in decent shape. One of them in here was brand new looking, so I'm not sure if that's the one. But there are a couple of brand new looking lenses. All right, real quick, you might have a better idea or a better view during the daytime of the interior here. So I'm just going to kind of show it a bit and go from there. Okay, so I mentioned I bounce around a bit. I took the intake manifold, cleaned it up a little bit. I'm going to be replacing the studs with MGB studs from an MGB on this manifold because they're a little bit longer to put the spacers that I want. Right here in front of me you can see the linkage down on the ground, but this is the difference in the stud length for the intake manifold. But this linkage was in really crappy shape. Earlier in the video you probably saw it, but it's going to go into place. It functions as it should, and it should still mount up with these phenolic spacers here. These are the spacers I was talking about before that I like using. These are MGB spacers versus those really thin ones.
You'll have to excuse one of the workbenches. I've been doing so much stuff on it, but it's it's a mess. That being said, I just put these together. These are the carbs for the Magnette, and I've gone through them. I've set them down here. Everything functions as it should. So they are the correct parts, and all I did was basically I just basically cleaned everything up, went through it, ensured that everything seemed to, like I said, function properly, and and whatnot. I didn't replace the bushings and anything or anything like that. They didn't really need it. If I find there's an issue once I put them all on, I can do that. We may have the parts. If not, I'm sure it's something that we can order for it. But yeah, that's hopefully these go on here soon. I'm just retapping the threads, and we'll get sorted out. I've cleaned up the linkage. I'm gonna assemble it here. Here's part of it, and then the rest of it all here, which connects here. And then I can put the carbs on and get all that linkage sorted out. So, well, the bad thing about old plastic parts is that they break. Doing these cars and stuff, I've ran across quite a bit of it, but as you can see here, luckily I have another piece. Otherwise I may have to order some pieces for this linkage, but yep, that happens. So we'll get it sorted out here. Alright, things work a lot better when the linkage is put the correct way around and the plastic doesn't break. So as this sets up, I'll probably show, hopefully in this video. If I can't in this video, then maybe in the next one. The throttle shaft will connect here, and as you hit the gas, the piece will rotate, pivot, spin the throttle shaft, and open the throttles. So hopefully I can get that done today, but like I said, I'm kind of short on time a lot of times, but at least it's all functioning as it should. I'm going to tighten it all down and go from there. So unfortunately it looks like I'm not going to be able to get down to the putting on the carbs today, but at least I showed them to you. And yes, I know there's a heat shield that goes there before the spacers, so I'm not putting them on just yet. But at least I got the linkage set up, things cleaned up. I'm going to put on new gaskets and everything. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and here's to having it running on the next one. So on its own fuel source in the tank. So I can only hope, right? Take care. See you later.